it's really super long. First thing first, real name, real photo to comment on this channel, on any of the videos, and this one included. This is called the Lost David Mansaray interview. Let me give you the backstory. David Mansaray contacted me and said that there were many people who wanted to have questions answered from me, and he wanted to interview me. I had him contact one of my people, because generally these sorts of things amount to a whole lot of wasted time on my part. Anyway, so that was done. Some questions were set up, and then a Skype interview, or a Skype pre-interview was done, which was almost 2 hours long, and in it a lot of things were covered, and I will cover some of those topics, and I will also cover what the direct questions were that he asked, and some of his comments and some other things. The reason that you don't see actual Mansaray interview, which is basically just him asking questions, and not so much interplay, which is what I want an interplay, are because of the following reasons. One, time differences between where I live and where he's at, and what his schedule is and what my schedule is. Two, he wanted to switch it into Spanish, and that's basically impossible for him because he just doesn't have the level. Es porque él no tiene el nivel suficiente para hablar correctamente sobre asuntos profundos, más o menos. And yeah, he just learned the word el techo, like last week he was telling me. It's impossible for him to talk about lingüística in Espanol. So that wasn't done, and plus that's also just catering to some of the sycophants of other people, and because of character flaws. That's why it wasn't done, character flaws on his part. And so right into some of his questions, and this is the Lost David Mansaray interview, as it would have been. He wanted to know, what do I think is the best method of learning languages? And the best method of learning languages depends on what you're trying to accomplish with what languages. If you're talking about any language in the world, then it's field linguistics, and that's carefully hidden technology for field linguists that they keep to themselves, basically, available to those who want to put out the effort and time and energy, and not going to be spewed out here. But the best method is field linguistics. If you want the people who produce the best results, you have to look at government programs that teach the military, government officials, or even those people who do missionary work, because they have to become functional. That's something that he and I talked about quite a bit, because he's in Spain now and he has to start learning how to be functional. He just can't babble on little side niches that he finds interesting, and much like Steve Kaufman does, and other people. And he also has to be able to hit a prosody that's much better than what you see like in Moses' videos, because those are non-functional videos. So we talked a lot about the function, how function is important. That's the only thing I'm interested in. Once again, I'm only interested in people who want to become functional and have to work actually in a society that's multilingualism. I've had a lot of Pinoys, that's Filipinos, speak Tagalog, Cebuano, in English usually, tell me, yes, we're multilingual. Yes, I know you are. You were a very good example of that. It's a very good country that shows strong diglossia, for example. Then that's an important aspect, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about this polyglot thing, which basically goes to hobbyists and dilettantes. I'm not interested in that, which is mostly what you find on YouTube. We talked about that. YouTube is pandering and catering to the lowest common denominator. I'm not interested in that. And he wanted to know why what to be found in academics. Well, academics, I don't know what he's talking about specifically, because he didn't narrow it down. Academics is in what? Field linguistics? Yes, the methods work, and they're well known in the field. Those people don't waste their time with people on YouTube. It's just not, why would they? Because the people who know about it know that you're talking to pundits at best. At best, you're talking to pundits. So he wanted to know what I felt was important for language learners, and I feel that for language learners, they have to know how to become an insider. They have to go from the etic to the emic, as we say in linguistics, and you have to spend a lot of time on this. A lot of people want to say, I want to be known as an outsider. Well, you're not going to be accepted, and this is kind of funny, because it's the same sort of thing like we talked about. Kaufman complains about Chinese people that move to the United States, or to Canada in his case, in Vancouver, and they don't really learn English. Well, you got a load more of English speakers, monolinguals, who never learn another language, regardless of where they live in the world. They never integrate into society. That's pretty common in many places in the world. And so I talked about that with him at length, and then he was also saying that he was getting exposed to trying to become an insider in Spain, which he'll have to do, which isn't that difficult because they're two Western cultures, actually, from England to Spain, as opposed to being Occidental and going to Oriental mindset, which is vastly different, completely different. I talked at length about that. I won't go into those specifics. Some of the things that he brought up in our 2-hour-long interview, we talked about different people that are on YouTube and stuff, and he's very good friends with Luca, for example. I found out he's no longer doing interpreting school, and talked about what they did, how they did it, and once again, my analogy is, yes, there's people who are very good, and just like there are fighters who are very good, but that doesn't mean that they're able to teach you, and trying to follow them is not what's productive. You look at the people who produce the most champions because they have a protocol, a paradigm that works very successfully, and that's the same thing you need to. If you're looking at fighters, you're looking at K1, you're looking at the Netherlands. They produce everyone. Why? Because they have a system. Because they have a very regimented, productive, goal-resulted way of training. And that's the same thing. And I talked about Bulgaria too, with strength, and the Eastern Bloc countries for speed strength sports. They just blew everyone else out of the water. Bulgaria is a very small country, small population size, yet blew everyone else out of the water because of their training methods and their protocols. And that same sort of thing is applied to languages. Method does matter. Benny is completely wrong when he says method does not matter. Yes, it does matter, and that's why the government won't spend money on things like Steve Kaufman's, because Kaufman is not a curriculum. It's just an added tool. It is not sequential. It's not guided. There's nothing about it. It's just a tool, and it has nothing to do about, if you want to get better at talking and speaking, you have to actually talk and speak, and that's one of the fastest ways to become better, is to constantly have to interact with people. It's going to drive the vocabulary lexicon further in to active use, which is what you need. Anyway, I don't want to go off on that area too much. He felt that that, like a lot of people now, information should be free. My response to that is that I feel all services should be free. I don't want to pay for cleaning. I don't want to pay for anything that has to do with anybody doing any service for me. Information should be free. That's what every criminal says in everything. These are the people who want information, who don't do information but do service jobs, and they want money for their services. So anytime I need my car repaired, it should be free. Anytime that I want to go to a restaurant, it should be free. So there's a big difference. To information is longer lasting than a service. It's much different. Give someone a ride somewhere in a taxi, it should be free. Okay, but that doesn't last. It's not enduring, which is education is. Another response I have to that same specious garbage would-be argument is I'll do it at the same time that Harvard and Yale says you can go to school for 4 years and it's free. Okay, information is a commodity, and it's also something people pay a lot of invested time and effort in. And what I'm doing, and he asked me what was my goal, and I said my goal is, I am Sam Harris on here. The academics don't waste their time because it's a fruitless endeavor. You take a lot of use, like I do, from idiots who don't know anything about what they're talking about. They have cite no evidence. Anecdotal is the best that they can come up with, and they want to be name calling. By the way, no one has ever trolled me or said negative comments that has a real name or a real photo. It's only been the sobriquet, the fake cyber cowards who've done that. And if you want to raise standards, like I was talking about Arguelles had standards and people wouldn't meet them. That's one of the reasons why he's no longer active on any sort of cyber connection with people. He's in an academic world. It's better off around academics who know the rules and how to play and the standards and the citations that are needed to actually promote any sort of opinion. Well, back to what I was saying to Mansaray, that yes, I'm the Sam Harris, and so what I'm doing is countering the faith-based people on here. You know, God damn, I've been saved by Steve Kaufman. His way of doing the things is just perfect. Moses has showed me the light. I know now how to learn because Moses did. I can do it too. I can stumble into a convenience store and slaughter a language and come out and I feel good because I have leveled up. I have leveled up. That's the sort of thing I'm countering. Those are not sequential things. Kaufman's method is way too slow. It's not even a method. It's just a tool that he keeps your money. That guy can't speak more than 2 seconds without repeating what he's doing. So we talked about that. I reiterated that Stu J, you should see Stu J is about 5 levels above everybody else. I've met him in person. He's incredible. He's a great teacher. He's knowledgeable. He's just at a different level than everyone else. But so what was happening with our talk was that we were segueing into certain different aspects of learning. I said that you don't see anybody talking about Asher very much, which I put up it's on my playlist. You can see something about that, which is very strong method, very researched, and very productive. Also, the silent method is not talked about. The dig, lot, weave method is not talked about, which is kind of surprising because you think that Kaufman would have pilfered that somewhat in his stuff. And there are other free software programs that do exactly the same thing that Kaufman's trying to sell to people. And he has been rejected by the government in Canada, I believe it was, for English as a second language, trying to sell his stuff because it's not productive. They know it's not productive. It's just, you know, and here he is, he's just a huckster. Everybody has an agenda, okay? Mansaray wants to be a documentary film guy. Vinny wants to be a travel writer with the, you know, he thinks he's going to take over the Lonely Planet spot now, I guess, and become the roving guy. Everyone has his agenda to get hits on their page, then drive up their thing, and then move their audience to something else that they're going to make money on. And what I'm doing here is I'm giving you a free beneficial service from someone who actually knows what the hell they're talking about. And my business is self-defense or training real fighters. That's what I do. As my web presence really is that. This is all free stuff. I get nothing out of it. So I have nothing to gain by giving out any information. I wouldn't, because that would be my service that I would offer to people if they want to learn language with me. I am a certified language teacher, by the way, in several languages. So people want to ask about my credentials. You know, I guess they don't pay attention to all my videos. They need to go through them, and I'm not here just to hand out information because they're too lazy to do research. I've had a lot of people who have, however, found my videos to be very helpful and send them on the path to better learning, and they've said, yes, you know, this is, you pointed the way. That's right, because I'm here to teach you how to fish, not to give you fish, okay? And that's people who know the value of that are really indebted to that, as anybody would be that has any sense. The point is that you cannot believe in a faith-based learning system that has no backing, no empirical evidence. The people can't put themselves up to empirical evidence. They won't take my learning language challenge, and they won't counter anything that I say. They will. Benny blocks me. Steve ignores me. That doesn't make my arguments any less correct. You know, you can annoy yourself with the fact that, well, I will just hide about gravity. Gravity doesn't change, okay? It's not. It's a force. It still exists, and you can like it, not like it. It doesn't matter. It's outside of what you want to do. Just like the truth is outside of what you want to do, and that's what I'm saying. This Sam Harris. And yes, I'm controversial, and I guess that, you know, I guess Mansaray has a character flaw in the fact that he doesn't understand that that is what's going to get him more attention. The fact that that's what every reality show is based on, conflict. So I don't know what he's trying to accomplish. But anyway, so this was the condensed version of the Mansaray Lost interview. And anything about specific language stuff, you'd have to see when I offer those services specifically for specific languages. Until that time, I keep giving you ways to go. I've already told you big thing, field linguistics. So take it or don't take it. It's up to you, as they say here in Thailand. All right? So, พบกันใหม่ครับ